Welcome back to the Aubergine Chef. Today we'll be making one of my favorite summer pies, blackberry pie. Now I've got about 3 pounds of fresh blackberries here. You will need about 3 to 4 pounds of fresh blackberries, or 4 cups. Now it depends on how you make your pie. I don't like seeds in my pie, so I need to, basically double the amount that I need. So 4 cups, it's about 8 ounces, more or less. And I also like my pies to be a little bit more dense. If you use blackberries with seeds in it, your pie will be a little bit lighter, and a little bit cheaper at that too, because you won't need as many blackberries. But it won't be as dense, and you still have to deal with those seeds. And seeds don't usually bother me like strawberries and raspberries, but I feel like blackberry seeds, they're pretty tough. And so I just usually, what I do is I puree them and I strain out the seeds, which we'll get to. But first, we're going to need to make our pie crust. So let's go ahead and put our 3 to 4 pounds of blackberries to the side. Now, if you've been following along with the episodes, recently we did the shoe fly pie episode, and we ended up with 4 discs of pie dough. I went ahead and froze the other 3 pieces that I didn't need, and yesterday, or this morning actually, I actually thawed out the other 2 pieces that I needed for today. Because what we're going to do is we're going to top it off with a pastry shell of the pie crust instead of using a crumb topping. This is one of the very few pies that I'll actually go ahead and go out of my way to do the second pie crust. So I thought this would be a great episode, because otherwise you're never going to see me make a second pie crust or a second pie topping for the crust. Like I said, I love crumb toppings. It's easy, it's effortless. Why do anything else? But for some reason, to me, a blackberry pie just isn't right with the crumb topping. So let's go ahead and get our pie crust, our pie dough out of the refrigerator and roll them out. Now remember, if you need to see the episode where we make the pie dough, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the blog post to it, which was, the same episode as the shoe fly pie, like I said. I'm still going to show you how to roll it out, just because, I need to roll it out anyway, so I might as well just go ahead and show you. But if you need to know how to make it from scratch, just go ahead and go to that episode. So let's go ahead and get our flour in our rolling pin. Okay. This time I'm going to try something a little bit different. Last time I rolled it out about 2 inches past the pie crust, and it was a pretty thin dough, and I didn't really like how thin it was. I mean, it's fine, but I think I'm going to try and get a little bit thicker pie crust this time around. So I'm going to not roll it as far out, and hopefully maybe get it as close as to 9.5 inches as I need it to be, or 9 inches for the pie shell. So go ahead and roll it out. Feel free to use lots of flour with pie dough. If your pie dough is cracking a lot, you might not want to use as much flour, because if the flour gets into those cracks, like see right there, it's not going to be able to seal itself back together as easily. Okay, I got a nice thickness this time. It's a little bit thicker than the pie dough I rolled out last time, so it's going to be a little bit more resistant to cracking, and it's also going to be able to hold the juices a little bit more from the pie shell. from the pie filling, but it's also going to have a little bit more of a flavor of the pastry added to our pie. So, see how that works. Alright, let's go ahead and tear it off the sides. Now, since I'm not doing a crumb topping or just like an open pie, I am not going to flute it like in the other episode. What we're going to end up doing is putting the other pie shell on top of this one, the top layer, and we're going to press it together with a fork to seal it, and we're going to flute it that way. Let's go ahead and set that one aside. And I'm going to do something also with the pie dough that I don't usually do, and I'm going to cut out some fun shapes with a cookie cutter to put them on top. But I'm going to let this dough rest for a little bit, and then we'll roll it back out and cut some fun shapes. And so to wash your blackberries, all you really need to do is rinse the whole plastic container under water, cold running water, and then to dry them, lay them flat on a sheet pan like I had with a paper towel. And that'll allow them to dry without you having to squish them or anything. Not that that really matters because we're going to grind them up anyway, but in case you ever want to wash berries, you know, from then on out. Plus, you can also pick out ones that are moldy, ones that are really squishy and not so nice looking. And you can pull out the stems too from the top if they have any stems in them. Now, like I said, the squishy ones may not be so pleasant to look at, but they might have a really good flavor. So if it's not moldy, don't throw it away. Go ahead and keep the squishy ones because we're just going to squish them up anyway. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and load up our food processor. Go ahead and puree them down.